Appearance on the wings. They have Zach McComb and Charlie Graham, Ed Barber and Ben Tibbs in the centres. It's a half-back partnership with Louis Dufresne and Joe Keys. Starting props are Adam Tangarton and Jacob Fairbank. Adam O'Brien in at hooker. Second rows are Ben Kavanagh and Matty G. Ryan Lannon in at loose forward. On the interchange bench, Gareth Widdop, Connor Davies. I may have inadvertently I should say, said Curtis Davies earlier on. He played last week for Dewsbury. Connor Davies, Kevin Leroy and Clement Boyer. For Whitehaven, they have Jake Mason in at fullback, Joey Romeo and Gideon Boafo on the wings, Will Evans and Curtis Tiers in the centres. It's a half-back partnership with Jake Carter and Lachlan Hannigan. Starting props, Guy Graham and Ross Ainley. James Newton in at hooker, the captain. Second rowers are Owen McCarran and Rio Corkill. Ryan King in at loose forward. On the interchange bench, Lucas Castle, Noah High, Hugh Worthington. Also due to be Jamie Doran, but he was with the Whitehaven physio. Looked like he picked up a bit of a knee injury in the warm-up. We'll see how that goes and see if he enters the field this afternoon. This is BBC Radio Cumbria Sport Online, bringing you Championship Rugby League action once again. Jordan Weir very kindly joined by Rochdale Hornets head coach Gary Thornton. Gary, your final thoughts on this one before we get underway?
Well, hopefully it's a nice open game of rugby league. Like I said, the facilities are brilliant, the weather's good for rugby league. It's a great pitch, great surface, so no excuses there from either side. Hopefully we see some good attacking rugby league, some good defensive rugby league, and it's a real good game. Like I said, it's open, isn't it? And it's there for it. A bit of pressure on both teams, so we'll see if that plays a part in the outcome.
So it's going to be Halifax to get the game underway through the boot of Louis Dufresne. Jake Carter's going to collect the kick-off in position. Whitehaven attacking right to left from our position in here at the east stand, the main stand, the new main stand here at Wakefield. Guy Graham's the man to fetch it forward. He's wrapped up 18 metres away from his own line. Now Owen McCarran, done in a skull cap similar to what he did last week against Dewsbury. He's made it to around about 25 metres away from his own line, then goes right into the hands now of Ross Ainley, the former Kells man, of course, in centre field, just over the 30 metre mark. Newton in there at dummy half, comes into the hands of Carter, then comes across to Curtis Tier trying to get on the outside of Keys. Barber's in there as well, trying to be dragged towards the touchline, but he's going to be pulled down. Newton in there at dummy half, goes right into the hands of McCarran. McCarran switches to positioning when he's running, then fetch down just over the halfway line. It is the 5 and last. Newton in there at dummy half, going to come into the hands of Carter. Carter's going to get it away left footed, going to put McComb under some pressure, but McComb very happily able to take that one, and he's going to be met there by Corkill, McCarran, Evans and Joey Romeo there as well. Dufresne in at dummy half, and it's Ben Tibbs, the centre, who fetches it forward for Halifax. Made it to their own 30. Coming across the line now, couple of pairs of hands. Fax looking to shift it out to their right hand side. Whitehaven complete the tackle just short, or just over the Halifax 40. It's Ed Barber that's going to play the ball. Dufresne then goes left into the hands then of Fairbank. Fairbank got it away, and they've made the halfway line have Fax. Still a couple of tackles left in this set. Going to go left into the hands of Dufresne, then goes across then to Ben Kavanagh. Kavanagh's going to be wrapped up. It is the 5 and last on the Whitehaven 40 at Halifax. Comes back to Dufresne, who's going to get the kick away. Mason could make a cup of tea by the time the ball has come to him. He's got plenty of time to collect that ball at Jake Mason, and made it to around about 22 metres from his own line. 2 minutes gone. Got a pretty even start.
Yeah, set for set as we expected. I just looking at Whitehaven's set up with this first set there, I noticed they had a couple of dinks down their left edge. I'm not sure if they've targeted somebody in right hand side defence for Halifax that they're getting at, but a couple of times they sneaked down there. I'm not sure if they're trying to get at Joe Keys, but you know, both teams completed the sets, got the kicks away, transitioned pretty well, so pretty even start.
It's going to be Joey Romeo to play the ball on the Haven 40. Newton in there at dummy half, comes across to King. King then just was looking for potentially an option, but is just being wrapped up instead, 2 metres short of the halfway line. In at centre field, Ainley takes Whitehaven over halfway. Good run from Ainley. He's made it to the Halifax 40. It is the 5 and last. Newton in there at dummy half. It's going to come left into the hands of Jake Carter. Carter once again gets it away left footed, trying to put Woodburn Hall under pressure on this time, but on his 150th appearance he's well capable of taking that at full back and does so, trying to get away from the Whitehaven defence. You're not getting away from Lachlan Hannigan. A combination effort then of Corkill and Evans in there as well, has pinned Woodburn Hall onto his own 10 metres. You can hear the Whitehaven faithful all in the same stand this afternoon. Just to our left hand side are the majority of the Whitehaven fans who made that early set off from West Cumbria this morning. 7:30, majority of them left West Cumbria this morning, so fair play to them for making that journey for this 1 o'clock kick-off here at Wakefield. Halifax 20 now short of halfway, going to fetch it along the line. Again, finds Adam Tangarta. Tangarta's going to be the man that's taken down. 15 now short of halfway. centre field. Coming across, finds Keys out the back to Jouffre. Jouffre looking to step inside of Owen McCarron, but McCarron able to wrap up there, the Frenchman, and it's going to be 5 and last, short of halfway here at Faxon. And it's going to be charged down. Got that in his game as Owen McCarron, the charge down, and sometimes you feel it comes off, sometimes it doesn't, and it hasn't come off on that occasion. It's going to be a penalty or a knock on here. Just going to be a straight knock on from James Woodburn Hall. So Whitehaven able to force the error. We see that a lot from Owen McCarron. Obviously you might not see it, Gary, or what from the limited amount you've seen of Whitehaven, but he's got that in his game. Sometimes it comes off. It didn't on that occasion, but then they've been able to force the error from the knock on.
Yeah, it is a risky play. It's a good effort area though. I like that pressure on the kicker. Like you said, it can go either way, John. It can go for you or against you. On this, it went back to 6 from the referee, but then Woodburn Hall's lost it in the tackle. I've been quite impressed by Whitehaven's transition. I think the kick chase has been pretty good, and then the line speed on the back of it. I think Halifax have struggled to make metres coming off their own backfield, whereas Whitehaven have been better with that. So at the minute, I think Whitehaven slightly got the upper hand, but we haven't seen anybody in good ball attacking the try line yet, although we might get an opportunity now because Halifax have been penalised. But it'd been nice to see what either team are like when they're defending their own try line. At the minute, it's all been middle of the field stuff. But as I said, I've been pretty impressed with Whitehaven's transition from attack to defence and the effort areas that they're showing there.
Whitehaven had just held the ball in the scrum. Halifax pinned then for offside as Will Evans fetched the ball forward. Ball's being kicked into touch, and Whitehaven are going to start this set on the Halifax 30. Evans takes the taps and then finds Rio Corkill, sporting the Phil Forden, Paul Gascoigne-esque blonde haircut. He's Rio Corkill, that's different from last week, but now comes left end into the hands of Ross Ainley. Ainley's then taken down, sort of 17 metres out of Whitehaven, just in line with the right hand side post here at Belle Vue, then comes into the hands of King, then out the back to Carter. Carter then just finds McCarron on the crash ball. McCarron's then going to try and continue to pump his legs, is the Australian, but he's wrapped up 5-6 metres out here to Whitehaven, to the left hand side of the post now. Newton lining way to dummy half. It's a slow play, the ball goes right now into King. King just takes the line on. Going to be taken down there is the Italian international, in line with the black dot, 2-3 metres out. Newton elects to go right into the hands of Hannigan, and then looks, he's going to have to sleep. Was looking for over the top was Hannigan, but the player wasn't on and has just slipped there and being wrapped up. It is the 5 and last, going to go right into the hands of Mason. Mason's just going to put a little nudge forward. It's going to have to be knocked dead by Halifax. Will Evans was on the chase on that right hand side, and it's been a goal line drop out forced. Just over 6 minutes gone here at Belle Vue. Haven 0, Halifax 0.
That's a good outcome for Whitehaven. They did a little bit of miscommunication, I think, on that right edge. They just broke down a little bit, did the attacking play. Not many gaps in Halifax's line, but they were prompting. But that's a real good outcome. If you can't get a try, then the next best outcome is to get the ball back, and that's what's happening. So a drop out from their own sticks, and Whitehaven can continue to build pressure and put the pressure on Halifax's try line.
Woodburn Hall with the goal line drop out, collected then by Lachlan Hannigan, who finds Ainley, who fetches it forward and taken down just a metre over the Halifax 30. So 29 out, into the hands now of Guy Graham, into a starting berth this week after coming off the bench last week for the Scottish international. He's made it to 15 metres out, just to the left hand side of the post. Newton in there at dummy half, goes across to King, then Hannigan, then out the back now to Mason, finds then Joey Romeo on the right hand side. Romeo just has to look to come back inside there, didn't quite have the balance, did the Australian. 2-3 metres out. Mason then finds Ross Ainley. Ainley gets the offload away to Ryan King. King now finds Guy Graham. Can Guy Graham power his way over? He's just going to be pulled down short though. It is going to be a penalty for the high shot on the international prop, and it's going to be Whitehaven again with another set of 6. Asking the question is James Newton whether they should go for 2 or whether they should roll on. They're going to elect to take the tap, I think, here to Whitehaven.
I think that's a sensible choice.
They're going to go
for 2. Yeah, I'm going to say there were 3 sets in there. 3 sets on their own try line for Halifax would have really tested that defence, but I think Jonty's decided let's come away with something, which is fair enough. Some nice shape from Whitehaven. I thought they moved the ball really well. Romeo was unlucky on that right wing, just lost his footing, didn't he? I mean, Halifax were across to cover it, but it was some nice shape, some nice movements, some good hands. So they're playing well at the minute. They made a really good start to the game. I'm sure Jonty will be really pleased with that. As I said, the exit sets clearing their own try line have been good. The kick chase has been good. They've transitioned well, and then when they've had a couple of sets on Halifax's line, they've certainly tested them, and they're going to come away with points.
They certainly are. Jay Carter from 10 out, right in front here on BBC Radio. Cumbria Sports Online gives Whitehaven a slender lead here in Wakefield this afternoon. Of course, we are in Wakefield and at Belle Vue, but it is Halifax 0, Whitehaven 2, and you mentioned there, Gary, you were quite interested, or you were quite happy with the way Whitehaven were playing. They were happy to shift the ball to the left or the right, saying they've got options. Jonty's talking about his pace and what his options he's got on the wings, on the edges compared to previous years.
Yeah, and they have, yeah, and I like Ryan King's going right into the line with his players, and he's holding ABC defenders up, which is giving Whitehaven some space on those edges and use that pace. But he's very good at that play where he goes, he holds the Halifax lineup and takes that opportunity away to slide across and help the edge. So it then becomes edge on edge, and it's going to be a good challenge of that. And you have got some real good pace at Whitehaven on either edges. So I think that's the plan, is to get to a middle of a field and then try and exploit on the edges.
Guy Graham now fetching the ball forward from the kick-off, being pushed back 2 or 3 metres there has Graham. Newton in there at dummy half, 15 metres away from the Whitehaven line. King then finds Ross Ainley. Ainley just takes Whitehaven over the 20 metre line, 22-23 away from his own line. Newton in there at dummy half, just creeping in front of the referee with the Halifax defence. He's not going to penalise him on this occasion. It's King that fetches the ball forward. 32-33 out. Newton in at dummy half, centre field. Going to go right, going to look potentially for a 40-20 here is Lachlan Hannigan. He hasn't got the angle on it, but it's just going to go, it's going to be far too deep. Was he just going to hold up? It's just, and I mean just touched the closest blade of white grass you could ever think of on that dead ball line. So what, a millimetre too long, and it's going to be a 7 tackle set here.
Yeah, I could see what he was looking for there, and try to clear his lines early, and fair play. It was a good effort. Great chase from Romeo, by the way, on the right wing, because he didn't give it up just in case the ball did hold in. I like that. It's a real good effort area. It shows he didn't give the ball up, but Woodburn all at the back there, cool and collected, wasn't he? And he let it just trickle over the line, and it was very, very close to being an excellent kick.
Certainly was. He was cool at the back. Was the Jamaican international, represented the country back in the Rugby League World Cup, and has played a number of games for them either side of that, as well as it's now Halifax on the front foot. Fairbank fetching the ball forward over the halfway line now. Are Halifax in centre field. O'Brien in there at dummy half, goes left and finds Adam Tangata, then finds Dufresne back inside to Halifax, then looking for, it was Kavanagh that spun out the tackle, then find Woodburn Hall on his 150th appearance, and Halifax have made it to less than 20 metres out now from the Whitehaven line. Going to come, no he's not, he's going to scoot his O'Brien, then going to find Tangata then taken down by Lachlan Hannigan. It is the 5 and last, the 6 metres out, going to go down the left, which is the short side, finds Dufresne, and Halifax should be in that left hand side corner. Is he going to be held up? He's going to be held up over the line. Fantastic defence from Whitehaven on that right hand edge, and it's going to be Jake Mason now with a quick tap. So Mason then going to look to get on this left hand side and find Gideon Buwafo. He's got some speed as Buwafo, if he can use it. He's trying to use it, he's going to try and do Halifax on the left hand edge. Fantastic work from the London Broncos. Loney takes Whitehaven. This is a 7 tackle set, so the ball must have been lost, so Whitehaven is starting this on the Halifax 30. Make that Curtis Tier first tackle on the Halifax 20. It's going to be Mason in there at dummy half, going to go right then into the hands of Carter, then finds now Joey Romeo trying to get out, then finds now Rio Corkill then got to be wrapped up 11 metres out. Fantastic transition once again from Whitehaven, from defence into attack. Hannigan in there now, then comes across to Ross Ainley. Ainley just sticks his head down and runs forward, put down onto his back. 8 metres out or so to the right hand side of the post of Whitehaven. Going to come across now, Lachlan Hannigan, then finds Guy Graham. Graham's trying to spin out to the tackle. He just pulled down as a Scottish international to the left hand side of the post, a metre out. Newton lining way to dummy half. Does he go left or right? It's a slow play, the ball goes right, comes back to King then going to put a little kick forward. Lachlan Hannigan should be there, and he's there. He's the Australian. It's Whitehaven on the right hand side into the 13th minute here at Belle Vue, and it is Lachlan Hannigan that's got on the end of that Jake Mason kick. It's his 4th try of the season for the Australian. Haven lead 6-0.
Yeah, I tell you, Halifax should have been in there. They bombed that chance because Evans jumped out of the line on that right edge of the defence, and great scramble defence. I'm not sure who it was, 'cause I think it might have been Romeo, made a great tackle to force the error from the Halifax winger, and then from then on the transition was absolutely superb. Mason tapped 20, Baffo superbly supporting him, and and they got to the Halifax 30 in no trouble at all. And then from there on in, Halifax were always on the back foot. It was really tough to defend from attacking your own try line to get back and defend your own try line. It's a really tough ask. And again, King superb with that little kick. For a big fella, that was a real good skill. And chased through by the scrum half to score the points, and thoroughly deserved. Whitehaven are well in front of this game now. They're the best team on the pitch so far, and they're making the most of the chances. But as I said, they keep talking about these effort areas, but they make a massive difference. And that transition there from a tap 20 then to scoring the try in the next set, superb.
Fantastic work from Whitehaven. Jay Carter comes at it left-footed and knocks over the extra 2 points. So it's Halifax 0, Whitehaven 8 here at Belle Vue. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online. 13 and a half minutes on the clock. Jonty Gawley's side find themselves 8-0 to the good, but how often? And I'm just calming myself down a little bit. We've seen Whitehaven get fast starts in previous weeks. We've seen it at Widnes, we've seen it at Doncaster. The away sides the home sides on that occasion come back to get the draw. So with clock stopped, fast start, but Whitehaven need to make sure they can keep it up, Gary, throughout the match.
That's right. Yeah, it is only just a good start, isn't it? I'm just looking at Halifax though. They look, the body language ain't great. They look a bit, the body language it shows that they're struggling. I don't know if that's from what's happened in previous weeks, but they don't look like they're a confident team. On the other hand, look at Whitehaven. I mean, Whitehaven scored that try, and they've all sprinted back to get back into position. So you're right, it is a good start, but they need to build on it now. They need some completions. They need to kick deep and keep Halifax away from their try line and just build on a good start.
Kick from Jufrey deeper than it was in the previous two, and it's now going to be fine. It is found. Jay Carter finds King on this occasion rather than Guy Graham. It's going to be Carter in a dummy half, 13 metres away from the Whitehaven line. Comes across to Mason in the middle. The Italian international happily takes the ball forward. I was about to say formerly of this parish, but of course not this parish, but playing of course against his former side, who he spent last season with at the Shea. As Joey Romeo takes Whitehaven up to the 30 metre line. Quick play the ball, Newton then in at dummy half, and has made 10-12 metres. Scooting, was looking for an option on the right hand side, but elected to take the line on himself. Comes left now into Ainley, then finds Carter. Pop up ball then to Owen McCarran. McCarran just going to be stopped dead, picked up, but still finding to be able to go backwards despite being in the air was Owen McCarran. It's the 5 and last, 5 over halfway. It's going to come left to Carter. Carter's going to put it up in the air. Bawaffo's going to be on the chase, trying to get there to Woodburn Hall and put the pressure on. Gets away from Bawaffo, but Jake Carter and Curtis Tier there are just going to be to wrap the Jamaican international up.
Yeah, good kick from Carter, and again followed up his own kick with a really good chase and nailed Woodburn Hall. Again, making good use of the ball coming out of exit. They were well over the halfway line and gave Carter the chance to put a decent attacking type kick in rather than kicking from their own half and it being a defensive kick. That then gives your kick chase team opportunity to nail the opposition and ensure that they're starting their sets from well inside their own half.
Charlie Graham fetching the ball forward now, just on his third appearance of the season. Is Graham, he's got Halifax to just over their own 40. O'Brien's in there, then gets it across to Joe Keys. Keys trying to look at that. Is that going to be a high tackle? It's not going to be on Joe Keys, so it's going to be the 5 and last. It's going to come right into the hands then of Louis Jufrey. Jufrey's kick is going to be allowed to bounce by Bawaffo, and is it going to go dead? It is going to go dead, and it's going to be Whitehaven here that get another tap 20 restart and a 7 tackle set, although Halifax have an opportunity to get their defensive line set.
I think Halifax will be disappointed that the halves aren't really in the game. Joe Keys and Jufrey, we all know how dangerous Jufrey can be with the ball, but they're not in the game at all really, and I think Whitehaven are doing a pretty reasonable job of snuffing out the threat that those two players carry. Defensively they've been very good, and as I said, making more use of the ball than Halifax are at the minute.
Just over 3 years ago since Jufrey re-signed for Whitehaven on that magical spell at the end of 2021, he was heavily involved with that, but back here McCallum got the offer away to Newton, who found Mason, who's now found then Joey Romeo. Whitehaven over the halfway line and up on the Halifax 40. Newton going to be in there at dummy half, just to the right hand side of the field. The opposite side to us here at Belle Vue. It's fine then. It's Corkill, the man that's going to be wrapped up. 32 away from the Halifax line. Newton then comes across to Hannigan, finds King. Just going across the line here to Whitehaven, then find out the back to Carter. Carter then just takes a run. Haven't found too many metres forward on that tackle. Maybe 2-3 metres tops. They're going to look to come down the short side. There's some gaps either for T to try and exploit. He's made 20 plus metres and trying to find the offload away to Gideon Bawafo, but the Halifax defence just seem to be standing back, waiting for Curtis T to come back to them there. Maybe shows a little bit of a lack of confidence in defence, Gary.
Agree, but again, T didn't need to offload there. He had a really, really good field position and a real good position where you could put more pressure on this Halifax line, as you said, who look low in confidence at the minute, and I think what it really needed was a completion for Whitehaven, and just to keep Halifax at this end of the field. I think you've let them off the hook a little bit there, and it was one that really could have put pressure on the Halifax line and really tested them, and they're coming away easily now.
So Weir on the field to replace Adam Tangata, and I think that's probably the quietest I've ever seen Adam Tangata, and Halifax are trying to shift the ball on the left hand edge, and the ball's found touch. It was the from Graham. I think he was maybe trying to get it to Tibbs on his outside, and it's going to be a scrum down head and feed here to Whitehaven. That's a turnover ball these days, isn't it? But yep. Whitehaven then another opportunity, starting set in a Halifax half, Gary.
Yeah, and Johnson needs to get a message on here just to make sure they don't fall in love with yourselves, lad. Let's just make sure we complete and keep the pressure on that Halifax try line. If we don't get a try, we come away with the next best thing, which is a dropout. If not, we just turn over on our turns. It's now about how they manage the game. The 2 scores up. It's just about, and they're in good field position. Just manage the game really well each time you get down there.
Into the 19th minute here at Belle Vue. This is BBC Radio Cumbria Sports Online. Haven find themselves 8-0 up as Ross Ainley is the man to fetch the ball forward, offload away into the hands of Newton. Newton trying to get it away, but elects to keep hold of it himself, does the hooker, but he's still being pushed backwards there. He's James Newton, and made 3 or 4 metres going backwards post contact. So Whitehaven within 20. King in there at dummy half, then comes across to Ross Ainley. Ainley twists in the tackle, put down. Whitehaven to the right hand side of the post, 8 metres out. Comes across then Hannigan, then Carter, then comes across to Mason and over the top, looking for Gideon Bawafo, but it's going to be Zach McComb that intercepts, and it's a good job he did, otherwise Bawafo was in this left hand side corner. Good work from Halifax and good read.
Yeah, it was a good read, but again, just forcing the issue a little bit. The Halifax defensive line on this right edge had come right up into the faces of Whitehaven. The pass was never really on, and I think Mason should have just taken the tackle there and then reset and go again. I think just last couple of times that Whitehaven have then been down on attacking Halifax's line, they've just been a little bit impatient. They just need to get back to what they were doing really well, ending sets on the run time and putting pressure on Halifax.
McComb now the man who intercepted, fetching the ball forward. It is the 5 and last for Halifax. They're just over halfway. O'Brien's in there, is going to find Jouffre. They're going to go for the play here. I don't think Jouffre's heard the 5 and last call, has the Frenchman, and he's being wrapped up. He's 38 metres out, 37 metres out from the Whitehaven line. I don't think he heard that final play call, and it just means it's a turnover ball, and the Halifax half still not being able to get into the game, Gary.
No, that was poor play from an experienced half-back who was a good player. That was a poor play from a last play option, and again, like you said, we're starting the sets 30 metres out, and they just look all over the place at Halifax at the minute. They've no control, they've no organisation. They're just all over, and Whitehaven are taking full advantage of that.
Joey Romeo now the man to fetch the ball forward. Newton in there at dummy half. Comes across then to King. King just takes the line on, breaks out to one tackle, breaks out to the second. He's not breaking out to the third, but fantastic work again from the Italian international. How often do we say that week in, week out? Then comes left now into the hands of Carter. Comes across to Owen McCarran. McCarran continues to keep his legs pumping. And Whitehaven are 25 metres out here, just to the left hand side of the post. Comes left into the hands of Carter. Carter going for the early kick. T is on the chase. Bawafo's on the chase. It's going to be half the knock dead by Halifax. Fantastic work from Whitehaven once again. Something a little bit different. Not quite maybe in that playbook, but something there that they're trying to turn this Halifax side around, and it's going to be a goal line dropout.
But much better intercept. Great little kick. Was it Carter that put the kick in?
It was.
I thought that was an excellent little kick because he gave his outside edge, the winger Baffo, a chance to get it, but he also put Woodman all in a lot of pressure because the ball bounced just right and he had to force it out. So as I was saying, this is about building pressure. You're getting the ball back. I have to say, King for Whitehaven has been the best player on the field for me so far in everything he's done. He's been superb defensively, but he's been great with the ball as well, and he's a real handful, and he's causing Halifax all sorts of problems.
Hannigan collects from the goal line dropout and finds Guy Graham. Graham takes it to Whitehaven, being 23 metres out centre field on the first tackle here from this set. Newton, dummies left, goes right, finds Ross Ainley. Ainley then takes it now. Whitehaven are within 10 to the right hand side of the post. Goes down the short right hand side, finds Lachlan Hannigan looking to take the line on himself. He's the Australian. He's got over on that right hand side. It's his second try of the afternoon. It's his 5th of the season. Whitehaven have a 12-point lead here in West Yorkshire. It's Halifax 0, it's Whitehaven 12.
Superb. And again, there's the difference between the two teams. You know, Weir gets caught with the ball on the last play, 30 metres from Whitehaven's try line. Whitehaven get down there, and then you've got two really good halfbacks. Carter, great kick to get the ball back on a repeat set, and then Locklear, just superb play, goes through a huge hole in the Halifax defence. Nice show and go, puts the try line out, and they deserve to be in front and building on that good start that they've had. But just those two sets where they tried to force it a little bit, I think if I was Jonty, I'd be getting a message out and saying, look, let's just control our end of sets when we're in good ball and things will happen for us. And that's the case. Both times they've had a repeat set, they've scored on the back of that. It's just about managing your sets, ending them well, and staying in control of the game.
And as much as Whitehaven's been good, Gary, and it is still only a good start, of course, that defence from Halifax isn't exactly the best, is it? They've really struggled. They've struggled going backwards. They haven't had, when they have had to defend repeat sets, they haven't been able to do it. Liam Flynn really will need to get that message out. His side need to be stronger.
Absolutely, and even pushing that even further, when Whitehaven have been coming out of their own backfield, out of their own exit area, they've been getting to halfway easily every time. And as I said, that makes it an attacking kick, which puts pressure on you defending. So they're not working hard in the opposition's half of the field defensively either, Halifax. And as you rightly say, when they're down on their own try line, anything that, a repeat set, they're struggling to hold Whitehaven out. And I'll be honest, Whitehaven aren't doing anything fancy, but they're running hard, they're finding the fronts, they're playing quick, and they're running onto the ball with some pace, and that's all that's beating this Halifax defence at the minute. They don't have to put anything special on, they're just running hard through holes, show and go, bit of pace, and Halifax are getting undone.
Simple, basic rugby league, as Jonty Gawley would call it. Jake Carter has added the extras. He's 3 from 3, Halifax 0, Whitehaven 14, kick-off. Once again, just coming right down the throat of Jake Carter. Haven't tried anything different of the home side. And finds Guy Graham, who takes it to around about 12 metres out. Carter in there at dummy half, goes right into the hands of Ross Ainley. Ainley is pinned behind his own 20. First interchange here for Whitehaven is going to be Lucas Castle coming on the field to replace Guy Graham. Into the 25th minute here at Belle Vue. King plays the ball. Newton's going to go down the right hand side and finds Rio Corkill. Former St Helens and Barrow Raider is wrapped up 15 short of halfway. Newton lining way to dummy half, calling for maybe a 6 again there. He's calling it a slow play the ball as King then gets the ball from Mason and just runs it forward. It's going to be 5 and last, going to be short of halfway. Whitehaven, 8 short of that. Going to go right. Finds Lachlan Hannigan. Hannigan does get the ball over the top and turns Woodburn Hall, and it's fantastic game management from Whitehaven. Realised nothing was going to really be on. They put the ball over the dead ball line, over the touch line I should say, and they're going to get an opportunity to set the defensive line, and Halifax start after 10 metres out.
Great kick from Hannigan, straight where you want it to be, 10 metres off Halifax's try line. That's a good result again. I did think Halifax stepped up the D a little bit in that set. They did keep Whitehaven to 40 out, but that kick from Hannigan's just got them out of trouble. It's a really good effort and gives them the chance. And with 3 scores up, that's all you need to do. Just keep completing, kick into good areas, and then follow it up with a really good defensive set. I say that, and then they're going to give a penalty away. First
penalty they've given away this afternoon for Whitehaven. It's just for holding down in the tackle far too long. Kick comes from Keys. It's 25 metres, so Halifax are going to start this 5 short of halfway here at Belle Vue. BBC Radio Cumbria Sport Online, 25 and a half minutes on the clock. It is Halifax 0, Whitehaven 14, but Halifax take the tap and they're going to be over halfway here. Ball comes out of that tackle. It's going to be a loss. Referee Kevin Moore initially put the whistle to his lips, but decided it was just lost in that tackle. And Halifax once again, just when they have got ball in hand, they don't seem to know what to do with it, but then they're unable to keep it as well, Gary.
No, very, very poor performance from Halifax so far. Fans are getting very frustrated with it. Losing the play on ball and play one is not acceptable. But fair play, Whitehaven are doing all the basics really, really well. As I said, nothing flash, nothing fancy, just play the game really basically and defend well when you need to.
Got to be a penalty. It's got to be a penalty. Lachlan Hannigan's just been taken out, and he was taken out about 3 days late.
Yeah, referee's got it.
Yeah, referee Kevin Moore has eventually given the penalty. He just stayed down there to Lachlan Hannigan, and it's going to be maybe
I'm not sure if he'll put that on report or even bin him, because
he just seemed to wait there initially. Did referee Kevin Weir see if there was going to be any sort of advantage and see if he was going to bring it back?
We're having a chat now with the linesman, but that's the sort of collision that we're trying to get out of the game. The pass has gone from the half back, and then it's come and followed through behind him, and it's that whiplash type injury, which is, that's the collisions that we don't want in our game. So there could be further action here from Halifax. I think there could be a sin bin here.
Referee Kevin Weir, I think he's just waiting to pull out. He's
is it Kavanagh?
It could be. Is it going to be just a talking to, or is it going to be a sin binning on report? What are we going to get here? It definitely is going to be a penalty.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
It's going to be 10 minutes. So I think it is Ben Kavanagh. Yeah, it is Ben Kavanagh, just checking with Rick.
That's frustration, John. That's Halifax. That's the frustration in the Halifax team coming out there when you put a late hit on like that. It's we all know the rules now. We all know it's not acceptable, and you can see the frustration growing in this Halifax side, and 3 scores away from getting in anywhere near Whitehaven at the minute. So again, nothing changes. Just keep controlling the game, kicking on your own terms, and then transition. It's a good start.
The booing, that's coming from the Whitehaven fans, as I say, vocal as they always are, but to our left-hand side here at Belle Vue, and that's what you don't need from Ben Kavanagh, just getting involved with the crowd as he takes his place. But it is going to be Whitehaven to get the game back underway.
Again, frustrated, very, very frustrated. Halifax team, they don't look cohesive. They don't look like they're all on the same page. It's disappointing from them.
So comes left now into the hands of King, then finds Lucas Castle. Connor Davies getting ready to come on down below us. But Whitehaven are 7 metres out, just to the left hand side of the post. Comes right, Carter finds Hannigan, then over the top of Joey Romeo. Can he get in that right hand side corner? He steps inside, gets round 1, gets round 2. The Halifax defence are just able to recover, but it's taken 4 to 5 of them trying to push him into touch there. Referee Kevin Weir has called held. 2 metres out to Whitehaven. Got to be a 6 again on a penalty. Louis Jouffre just won't get out the way, neither given. Comes back now to Hannigan, then comes back into the hands of Lucas Castle. In the middle of the field now with Whitehaven. 7 metres out, in line with the black dot. Newton, left or right options, elects to go right, finds Mason with the dummy, steps back inside, does the Italian international against his old side. He's just going to pull down a metre short. It is the 5th and last. What do Whitehaven do here? They elect to go down the short side looking for Rio Corkill, and it's going to be a knock on from Rio Corkill. It's going to be a first knock on. It's going to be a turnover ball on the 10 metres here for Halifax. Doesn't come off. 28th minute here at Belle Vue. Halifax 0, Haven 14.
Yeah, I think Carter was annoyed there, wasn't he? Because he had everything set up here on this left edge to end the set a lot better than they did. They were right on the Halifax try line, so there were lots of players engaged around the play the ball area. So there was some space out on Halifax's right, Carter's left. The ball didn't come. I think James Newton saw something on the right edge there, a short try line play that didn't come off, forced the error. But again, there's no, you can gamble there because Halifax are bringing it off their own try line, so it's not a bad place to turn the ball over like that. So no issues, it's no dramas. Just ramp up and D up now.
So Halifax continue to fetch the ball forward. Charlie Graham, the winger, makes it to the 20 metre line. Jouffre in the dummy half. Continue to fetch the ball forward once again. It's Ed Barber now on this occasion. 30 metres out are the home side. Hugh Worthington getting ready to come on for Whitehaven. Down below is Leroy. He's now the man to fetch the ball forward, the former French international. 15 short of halfway. Then comes across to Clement Boyer, another Frenchman in this Halifax side. It's going to be the 5 and last, short of halfway. Going to come right then into the hands of Joe Keys. Keys is just going to put the kick downfield. And it's going to bounce and bounce and bounce kindly into the hands of Romeo. Romeo obviously to Jake Mason, keep hold of himself. And then he's going to be taken down 21 metres away from his own line as it's Ross Ainley that leaves the field to be replaced by Hugh Worthington. So it's Bawafo now with ball in hand. Bawafo's pulled down short of his own 30. Just to the left of centre. Comes across now to the Welsh international. Seems to get more and more impressive every time he plays in a Whitehaven shirt following that initial trial a couple of months back. He's playing this 5 short of halfway, goes right into the hands of King, out the back to Hannigan. There's numbers on this right hand side. Mason then finds Will Evans. Evans just has to keep hold of the ball, but Whitehaven's made it to the Halifax 40, 3 or 4 metres in from the far touchline here at Belle Vue. Comes back in now towards Hannigan. Then in the middle with King. Then finds Worthington. Finds Carter. Carter's going to put the kick in. Gets behind Tia. Gets behind Buafo. And it should. And he paid should. If he just can't, he can't. Can't just keep it in field. It just didn't get the bounce it needed for Buafo just to bounce up to his hands. Otherwise, they were in for the third of the afternoon on this left-hand side. There was no one close in Halifax blue and white. Just didn't get that bounce of the ball they needed.
Great vision, that. Really good vision. Seeing that the Halifax line was up and short. Nice little chip in behind the line, and you've got to use Bafo's pace. He's got so much pace, hasn't he? You've got to use it. Unlucky that, like I said, great vision from Whitehaven. Unlucky with the execution. Could have put the game to bed almost, couldn't it? But we're not mentioning Joe Keys and Jouffre very much at all, are we, in this game? They're hardly touching the ball, whereas Carter and Hannigan are taking total control from Whitehaven, and that appears to be the difference at the minute. We've got one team that are well marshalled, well drilled, with King in there as well, pulling the strings in the middle of the field, and another team that looked just totally disjointed.
Coming down this right-hand side edge, ball back inside then to Woodburn Hall. Woodburn Hall trying to get the pass away at the G, potentially forward, looking to put the kick through, trying to get it behind Mason, bounces into the hands of Keys, and they're going to be in this right-hand side. Come on, that comes from absolutely nothing from Halifax, and it shows what they can do when the likes of Joe Keys has ball in hand. They're just able to find a slight gap where Whitehaven hadn't retreated in defence just fast enough as they should. And on this right hand side edge, they're in for the first try of the afternoon at Halifax. Very well worked, and in the 32nd minute, it's Halifax 4, Whitehaven 14.
I just commented that he wasn't in the game at all, and he hasn't been. I don't know if that's only his second, third touch of the game. He has not been instrumental in this game at all, but that all came from Woodburn Hall down the middle of the field, didn't he? Put a step on, busted through Whitehaven's defensive line, and there were players in to support. A speculative kick came on, and Keys was in the end of it. He has got pace. He is a quick player. As I said, he hasn't been in the game, but you can't give him opportunities like that. I thought the cover from Whitehaven had got across to put him into touch, but he just managed to sneak it in the corner. And this is what we're saying about Whitehaven. You can't take your foot off the gas. You have to concentrate for a full 80, because they have got some quality in this team. Yes, they're not clicking at the minute, and they're not playing particularly well, but they've always got threats. Woodburn Hall, Keys, Jouffre, they are players that can hurt you. And on that occasion, they did. Just clocked off a little bit there, Whitehaven. It's the first blot on the copy, but I think that's the first time they've really looked vulnerable, and Halifax have taken full advantage.
That kick just swung in at the last minute from Louis Jouffre. It looked like initially it was going to fall wide right, but it just swung in at the last minute from the French international, or the former French international. And Ryan King leaves the field to be replaced by the Warrington Wolves loanee Noah High, the Cumbrian, of course. 2 tries on debut last week. It's been a fantastic stint from Ryan King, just being pulled off there by John Sigoli. Fresh and trying to maybe freshen him up for what they know is going to be a tough second half. But it is here at Belle Vue. It is Halifax 6, Whitehaven 14. Kick-off comes from Mason, collected then by Ed Barber. Finds Leroy. Leroy is going to be taken down by Lucas Castle and Hugh Worthington. 7 metres out. 7 minutes before half time, 20 metres out. Then Charlie Graham, I think, off the wing to fetch his ball forward. Then going to be Ben Tibbs, I think, on that side. A few boos for Ryan King. I didn't think that it was going to be. He was, as he's just announced that he'd left the field, of course, was at Halifax for a few months last season before making his return to Whitehaven. Leroy gets up and plays the ball just short of halfway, goes left to Jouffre. Jouffre then finds Woodburn Hall. Woodburn Hall's then going to be through on that left hand side, and this is what Halifax can do when they have got a little bit of confidence. It's the 5 and last. The 25 metres out. Keys is going to put the kick in. Barber's there. It's going to bounce into the hands of Buafo. Buafo's then going to try and get on the outside. He's just going to have to go down and hit the floor. Is a London Broncos loanee. But this is what we know what Halifax can do when they've got a little bit of confidence, Gary.
Yeah, what a difference to Trimex. They've certainly they got that exit set away really well. Woodburn Hall's becoming a threat out of backfield now. He's gone through a couple of times now. Luckily, on that occasion, Whitehaven managed to scramble and get back. But a couple of minutes to half time, they just need to hold out and keep that 2-score lead, Whitehaven, and they're in decent shape. But yeah, you give Halifax a little bit of a chance and give them some confidence, and they will hurt you, as we've already said. They've just got to get back to what they were doing earlier, when complete, and then transition with really good defence.
Carter finds Hannigan, finds Mason. Mason's going to try and get through a gap, then tries to put the pass out the back. It's going to be ruled forward. Detects it's gone back. saying that it must have bounced forward, did referee Kevin Miller. I'll be honest, I'm not in agreement with him, but it's falling in Whitehaven's favour. Just under 5 minutes now. It is the half time. It is the 5 and last. It's going to come across then to Lachlan Hannigan. Hannigan then is able to get the kick away. Woodburn Hall underneath it. And it's Hannigan that on the on chase that is able to bring Woodburn Hall down. It's a quick play the ball, however. Only one marker in there. Halifax crowd down below us screaming for offside of Whitehaven, but are back on the line on this occasion. The home fans don't seem to think so, as Ed Barber's the man to fetch it forward. 8 short to halfway. Halifax. Carter's in there at marker. Then comes across then to Matty G. G's going to be pulled down exactly on halfway. Newton's in there. Noah High's in there. O'Brien's in there at dummy half. Then finds Jufrey, who just passes it back inside, who finds Connor Davies. Davies is then going to look to get away from that tackle, but he's pulled down 38 metres away from the Whitehaven line. 5 and last. Goes left into the hands of Jufrey. Jufrey right footed. Mason going to begin underneath that there is Italian international and pinned just the second he hits the floor. And Halifax back on top in this last few minutes, and Ben Kavanagh is allowed back on the field, so Halifax back up to a full complement of 13. Joey Romeo is now the man, and it's a big tackle there on the Australian, and he's pinned 11 metres away from his own line in centre field. Whitehaven slow to get back. They're tiring here in the final minutes of the first half. They will be wanting that half-time hooter, which we make is just under 3.5 minutes away. Bawafo now in there, plays the ball. Newton then finds Lucas Castle. Just needs a head down here. Good run from the Australian. Bumps off Adam O'Brien. Which fourth tackle on Whitehaven just over their own 20. Now finds Hugh Worthington. Worthington's done well there. Made sort of 15 metres or so. It is the 5 and last. Comes across to Jake Carter. Carter, plenty of pressure put on Carter, but he's able to find the grass. Split the winger and Woodburn Hall, and that's come off the feet of Charlie Graham, so he knows he's going to have to pick it up, and picks it up behind his own try line. And relief for Whitehaven, they're going to pin Charlie Graham on his own 10 metres there.
Yeah, it's a great kick again from Carter. The kicking game from Whitehaven's been really good, but I think you mentioned it just there, John. They look a little bit fatigued now, don't they? I think they'll be crying out for this half-time whistle just to get in the sheds and have a bit of a blow. You know, the bench have been good coming off there, but just a little bit of fatigue. The line speed's not there anymore. Halifax are making some inroads into Whitehaven's half pretty easily now. They're just, you know, I think, like I said, half-time can't come soon enough.
Fantastic work from Thierry, seeing what was coming, but Woodburn Hall was able to get the offload away into the hands of Jufrey. Jufrey then with a fantastic, wicked offload. Can't quite see who got it away to, but Halifax are just going to play this just over the halfway line. O'Brien in there at dummy half. Going to look to go down the left-hand edge. Keys with the double pump, and nearly through on that left-hand side is Joe Keys. It's the 5 and last, the 25 metres out. O'Brien's going to go to shape down the left-hand side. He's going to put a little kick in himself. Mason's going to have to get there, and he just dives to the floor, does Jake Mason, and he's going to be pinned behind his own 10 metres. Romeo in at dummy half. Then comes and finds Will Evans. A minute 45 as we make it to the half-time break. No official clock on the scoreboard here at Belle Vue.
He needs his outside backs in here now to do some work, because the forwards look spent. They've done a lot of work defensively. You need your outside backs to carry hard, carry fast, and get them out of this area and kick.
Jamie Doran is going to come onto the field. I think James Newton just signalled to referee to head coach John Tigoli that he needed to leave the field. He's got that left knee heavily strapped, this Jamie Doran, but he's going to dive in at dummy half. Will Jamie Doran and Lachlan Hannigan potentially looking for the 40-20 kick behind his own 30. I don't think it's going to quite have the legs on it. Woodburn Hall's over to get back, but he's picked it up on his own 10 metres. We make it 70 seconds to the half-time break as Lachlan Hannigan's able to bring Woodburn Hall down. Tackle completed by Hugh Worthington. Coming across now are the Panthers. Pulled down just short of their own 20, I should say. Barber plays the ball. It's going to be a penalty. Whitehaven pinned for offside. You can hear Halifax have been calling for that with the fans down below us for the last sort of 10 minutes or so. We make it 40 seconds to the half-time break. They're going to have an opportunity here to try and reduce the deficit just before the half-time hooter.
That's the fatigue factor there, John. Right there, they're just, you know, they're struggling to get back the 10. It's lazy penalties to give away. They've really got to defend hard now for this last set.
We make it 25 seconds till half-time. Can Whitehaven survive? McComb's taken down, plays this ball 42 away from the Whitehaven line. Connor Davies then gets it across then to Clement Boyer. Boyer's taken down. We make it within the final 10 seconds. That is our clock only, not official. Ball's hitting the floor, gone behind, and Halifax collect it. It's going to be Charlie Graham on that side. We make it within injury time here at Belle Vue in the first half. It's now in the hands then of Ben Tibbs. Gets to the Weir. He's going to play the ball 22, 23 metres out. Come right into the hands of Keys. Keys then out the back to Barber. Barber, angle tap from Curtis Tier, and that is the half-time hooter here at Belle Vue. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online. And we'll be attacking left to right from our position in the east stand, the main stand here at Belle Vue. And Halifax just on the way back out to the field now. Halifax 6, Whitehaven 14. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online. Jordan Weir very kindly joined by the Rochdale Hornets head coach Gary Thornton. And Gary, what have both sides got to do in the second half to ensure they can try and get the 2 points?
Well, from a Whitehaven point of view, I don't think they need to change too much, to be honest. I think certainly need to back up the defensive effort with what they've done with the ball, because I don't think they've made too many errors. They must be fairly high on completion rate. So I think, from a Whitehaven point of view, they just need to back up the defensive efforts and make sure that they don't give Halifax too much field position, because Halifax have shown when they do get field position that they can be quite dangerous. From an Halifax point of view, the way they need to continue what they did in the last 10 minutes of the first half, because they were a threat there, because they started the game really poorly. It still could go either way. And I think an error from the kick-off here from Halifax has given Whitehaven a real good opportunity in the first minute of the second half to post some more points.
Certainly, that kick-off, Halifax just didn't seem to have initially anyone underneath it, and it's going to come off the knees of a couple of players, and I think eventually it's been judged to have come off the hands of Kevin Leroyer. So 30 seconds into the second half, Whitehaven have an opportunity with a scrum down 10 metres out in centre field. So Carter's going to feed the scrum. Jamie Doran is out the back, comes left into the hands then of Hannigan. Hannigan looks to step back inside, ball hits the floor, judged to have come out from a Halifax hands, knocked down, so it's a fresh set of 6, so nothing lost, nothing gained there. Hannigan plays the ball, comes across then to Hugh Worthington. Worthington trying to spin out to that tackle, fetch down 2 metres out, goes left, Jamie Doran into the hands of Carter. Carter just stands up. He's going to be pulled down to the left hand side of the post, a metre out, metre and a half if that. Then comes across then to Lucas Castle. Castle then trying to find a little gap. There is Lucas Castle. Halifax have just going to stop him before the line. Jamie Doran once again in there at dummy half, into the hands of Carter along the floor. Carter then going to put a little kick in, but Waffle's going to try and get there, but it's going to be, I think it could be McComb on that side that's just going to collect that ball, and wasn't really the best set from Whitehaven.
No, Halifax's line speed was tremendous. As soon as Carter had the ball in his hand, the defensive line from Halifax on that right edge was right up into his face, so there was very little opportunity to create anything. If anything, I think they should have probably come a little bit deeper, sat a little bit deeper and dragged Halifax right out onto their line, but tried to play too close to the line in my opinion there, and the opportunity's gone.
So Halifax fetching the ball out from their own line. It's Charlie Graham who's going to play this ball 28 away from his own line, into the hands now with Leroyer on his 300th career appearance, so congratulations to him. To be honest, we hope that's the only thing he's celebrating this afternoon. Come the full-time hooter, goes right into the hands of Joe Keys. It's going to go behind Mears, and is it going to stay into the field of play, or is it going to be too deep? It's going to be too deep, and Whitehaven are going to get a tap 20 and a 7 tackle set. But an opportunity for the Halifax line to reset. 2.5 gone in the second half.
This ground must be fairly firm, because I think that's 3 kicks we've seen kicked from well within the opposition's half and then bounce dead for a 7 tackle restart. So, but maybe the kickers need to take a little bit off, because it is bouncing once it hits grass. It's bouncing and going through and giving the opportunity for 7 tackles, and that's, you want to try and limit those as much as you can.
Tier is the man to be wrapped up now. He's going to be 8 metres short of halfway, 10 metres in from the far left hand touchline on this occasion for Whitehaven. Comes back to Lucas Castle. Castle then finds his front, but he's still short of halfway. Centre field now is the Australian. Jamie Jordan comes right into the hands then of Rio Corkill. Corkill just going to get put down onto his back, just short of the Halifax 40. Hannigan's going to jump in at dummy half on this occasion. It's going to be Will Evans then to take the ball. Obviously once or twice, and it should be a penalty there. Noah High's just been completely taken out without the ball, but referee Kevin Moore not too interested in that. It is the 5 and last. Hannigan's going to put the kick up in the air, going up end over end. Joey Romeo's on the chase. Woodburn Hall rises highest, and going to be judged to being taken out in the air here by Joey Romeo. He has gone up for the ball, and Woodburn could it should be nothing more than a penalty. But referee Kevin Moore has stopped the clock because Woodburn Hall did take a clatter as he hit the ground.
Yeah, I think Romeo just got his timing a little bit off then. I think he made a genuine attempt for the ball, if I'm honest with you. He had his eyes on the ball and not on the man, so he was just a little bit unfortunate. I mean, the crowd get a bit carried away with stuff like that, don't they? Because it does look like he's taking him in the heart in the air, but he hasn't. I think he's made a genuine attempt for the ball, and just unlucky that the fullback hadn't come down in time by the time he made contact. So penalty is the right decision, but nothing more than that as far as I'm concerned. And Woodburn Hall's found his feet anyway, so just a timing issue. I do like Romeo's work ethic and his enthusiasm to chase every kick. Actually, I said that, and he might be taking further action here.
He's going to get pulled out here, this Joey Romeo, and I hope it's nothing more than just the word. But when the player's pulled out rather than before the captain, because there's no captain there with Joey Romeo, it is normally the fact you are going to see a sin binning. So referee Kevin Moore just explaining his decision, whatever he's going to give it is just going to be a penalty. He's going to start walking away from Joey Romeo. So it is just going to be a penalty, and Joey Romeo would just be better saying nothing and walking away, and that's what the Australian's done. He might not be happy with the decision, he shakes his head, but he's still on the field of play, and in the end of the day, Gary, that's all that matters.
100% right, John. Yeah, you don't start arguing with referees, and when you've got the decision, which he has, I get it. He did try and compete for the ball, but he got it wrong, and it is a penalty, and it's the right decision. So you don't argue with the referee, you just take it and you move on.
So Halifax fetching the ball through Ben Kavanagh, who was simbing in the first half. O'Brien then gets it across to Keys, who then finds Leroy.
Keys is becoming more influential, Jordan, I think, in this game, isn't he? He's getting his hands on the ball a lot more for Halifax.
O'Brien once again trying to score from dummy half, and that's caught high there. Referee Kevin Moore initially, I don't think seeing it. I think he's had the call from his judge. It was just a lazy arm from Lucas Castle and just caught O'Brien there, and it's going to be nothing further. It looks to be for he was just a lazy arm out of marker, but Whitehaven there. It's the first half's ending. Second half started out. The first half's ended with Halifax on top and getting us on the front foot.
Yeah, and it's back-to-back penalties, which won't please Jonty at all. Give him one penalty away and then backed it up with another one, and it puts Halifax right into the danger zone now and attacking Whitehaven's try line. So they really need to step up defensively now and keep Halifax out.
So Connor Davis is the man now to fetch it forward. He's going to be on the Whitehaven 20 when he plays this ball, just to the left of the left-hand side post. O'Brien comes across to Keys, then comes across, then it must be Clement Boyer. Boyer's then taken down 8 metres out to the right hand side of the post now. Halifax lining up on this left hand edge. Keys finds Jufrey, then going out the back. It's going to come across to Ben Tibbs, who spins away from Romeo, gets away from Hannigan. He's going to get away. It's a fantastic try from Halifax. Got through 2, 3, 4 Whitehaven defenders, and it's Halifax's second of the afternoon, and it is going to be Halifax 10, Whitehaven 14 here at Belle Vue. It's Halifax's second of the afternoon. Tibbs, who goes in for his, just double checking, his 6th try of the season.
It's a great individual effort from the centre there, but it all came about by a misread from Romeo in this right wing. Don't know why he decided he needed to jump out the line, because he didn't. He just needed to sit and hold his shape on the wing and let the inside defenders do their job. He shot out the line, he missed the one-on-one tackle on Tibbs. Tibbs has spun out and then gone and beaten a couple of players, as you said, to the Whitehaven try line. But it's come from their own downfall there. That's back-to-back penalties. One here down here when Romeo gave a penalty away on Woodburn Hall, and then a second penalty, a high shot, and you've just fed Halifax field position, and on this occasion they've taken it. But again, 3 errors there, 2 penalties, and then a misread defensively from the right winger, and that's all Halifax need. That's all they need, because they have got some skillful players, and they're now getting the ascendancy, and you just worry that Whitehaven need to turn this back into their favour.
You hear so much from coaches, and especially from Johnson, that he calls them KPIs, his penalties, his errors, and you try and obviously keep them as low as possible. And he speaks as well about penalty error, then try, or penalty try, as Jufrey knocks over the extras. It's such a simple game at times, rugby league, Gary, and if you just allow you allow your opposition up the field, that's going to happen.
100%, and it is about it's about keeping the opposition as far away from your try line as you possibly can. And penalty is not, because players these days will kick a penalty kick 20-30 metres, so you're giving up 60 metres straight away just on 2 penalties, and that's how it eventually came about. And you know what, they were really good. The discipline was really good first half. I think they only gave maybe one penalty away, was it 2? And now they're just giving back-to-back penalties within the first 5 minutes of the second half. So I'm not sure if there's a little bit of fatigue set in. They do look a little bit tired at times to Whitehaven, and I think the other factor is Halifax have certainly stepped up their game a little bit. They're running a little bit harder than they were in that first 25 minutes, and they're certainly on the ascendancy now.
Potential of a knock on there from Louis Dufresne with the offload from Woodburn Hall, but referee Kevin Moore has said he'd gone backwards. Halifax have made it up to their own 40. Still a couple of tackles left in this set. O'Brien's then going to scoot from dummy half. He's going to make 10-12 metres before being brought down there. Still not on the 5th tackle. Connor Davis jumps in at dummy half, comes right to Keys, offloads it to Leroy. Leroy's then going to find his front. It is the 5 and last, the 35 out from the Whitehaven line. Keys is then going to put the kick in. Mason is going to be underneath it, but it is a metre away from the line from Mason when Mason takes that good kick from Joe Keys, and it's going to be Joey Romeo that's wrapped up 5 metres away from his own line. Whitehaven have got hard work to do here to try and clear their own lines. Curtis Tier is the man to try and fetch them forward. He's made it to just over his own 10. Hannigan in at dummy half, coming down this edge again, so the outside backs trying to help their forwards. Will Evans has made 15 metres there, so well done to him. Whitehaven are playing this 25 away from their own line, 10 in from this near touchline. Rio Corkill now fetches Whitehaven towards their own 30. Newton back out there at dummy half, so I think Jamie Doran probably is struggling, and I think he's just spelling to James Newton for a 10-minute period because he's back out there. Jamie Doran isn't, and the kick from Hannigan is going to be going to the foot of Woodburn Hall and just gives Whitehaven the opportunity to come a little bit further. And Lachlan Hannigan, good chase there from the Australian, pins Woodburn Hall just short of the Halifax 20.
I think the other key change as well from Jonty is he's brought King back onto the field, which I think is a really good move, because they're just losing a little bit of momentum, and I think he'll steady the ship a little bit, both with the ball and defensively. Duran's definitely struggling. He's limping away here to our left. I reckon he's just gone out there to do a job for 10 minutes just to give Newton a rest if he can, and fair play, but I've been noticing he's been playing on one leg all game, to be honest to him, so fair play for him. He's gone out and done a job, but you need Newton out there now.
Gareth Widdop's just gone out, and Casey's going to break down to the middle. He's nearly there. It's a last gasp ankle tap from Noah Hyde. It's the 5 and last. It's going to come left into the hands of Louis Dufresne. Dufresne's going to put the kick up high. Mason's going to try and get there. The head of Gareth Widdop knocks it backwards to Jake Mason. Halifax, it should be an hour in. Error there from Jake Mason. It's Charlie Graham that's come up with it. He's give it there. Has referee Kevin Moore, and Halifax take the lead for the first time this afternoon here at Belle Vue. An uncharacteristic error from the Italian international out the back. He's knocked that ball on up in the air, and it is Charlie Graham on his second try of the season, and Halifax leads 16 points to 14. Game turned round massively here at Belle Vue.
Yeah, and a lot of it came from the fact that Halifax got out of their own area, our own red zone area far too easily, which allowed that spiralling kick, an attacking kick rather than a defensive kick, which put Whitehaven under all sorts of pressure, and then spilled it, with no real pressure on the fullback. He spilled the ball, and Halifax's kick chase was very good on that left edge, and maybe that's what Mason had in his eyesight, just a bit of chase and a bit of pressure from Halifax, and he spilled the ball, and right man in right place, right time for Ed Barber as for Charlie Graham, as he sneaked over. He earned it though, because he put himself in that position with the good kick chase, but they're just shooting themselves in the foot, aren't they, at the minute? Whitehaven, they're their own worst enemies. Conceded after 2 back-to-back penalties, and then they've conceded there off their own error, and they're fueling Halifax, and they've allowed Halifax back into this game, and now they're chasing it. And so we'll see how that affects them, but they look a bit fatigued, a little bit tired. Halifax have just grown in confidence, haven't they? But it's because Whitehaven have allowed that to happen.
They certainly have. We mentioned how devoid of confidence they looked in that opening sort of 25 minutes or so, but it's a completely different side we've seen since Jake Mason with the kick-off, and it's going to be collected. It was a bit of a difficult kick-off, but Halifax able to collect on their own 10 metres and now look to fetch the ball forward, but Whitehaven keen in defence, push back the Halifax defenders. This is BBC Radio Cumbria Sport Online. Into the 53rd minute here at Belle Vue. Halifax take the lead for the first time. They now lead 18 points to 14 as Leroy's going to play this ball 23 metres out. Centre field comes across Jufre. I think it's going to be McComb on this side, not wearing a different number, I think, in this second half. We'll keep an eye on that one. Potentially actually could be Ed Barber. We're coming down now is O'Brien Scoots from dummy half. I'm going to take the way over halfway here, Halifax. It is going to be the 5 and last. And Whitehaven just need to take a set or two here just to get back into this game, get back into the contest. They're going to try and put Mason under pressure again. Oh, and he's dropped it as the Italian international once again. His head's gone as Jake Mason. That's back-to-back knock-ons. You do not see that from Jake Mason at all too often. And it's going to be a scrum down, head and feet here. And Halifax are right in the heads of Whitehaven here.
Yeah, again, absolutely zero pressure on him. He's just obviously still feeling it from that previous era, and that's just shot them right at foot again. I think Widdop's come on in the centre. I think Tibbs has gone off, and Widdop's in this left centre. Yeah. But you know, Whitehaven are just putting pressure on themselves here. You know, they've just not started in this second half at all, have they? They've not got into the game. Halifax are making far too many easy meters coming off backfield, and now they're on their own try line again. Jufre
looks to step the line on, tries to step inside, get away from Jake Carter. He's pulled down 7 metres out. Going to go down the short side. Trying to power the way over on that right hand edge. The Panthers. 2 metres short. It's G that's just hauled up short. Comes across then to Kevin Leroyer. Leroyer trying to keep his legs pumping, is the Frenchman. Pulled down 2-3 metres out to the right hand side of the post. O'Brien comes left to Keys. Jufre then comes out the back to Woodburn Hall. Then comes across then to Charlie Graham. Graham, has he got in his left hand side corner? I think he has, as referee Kevin Meweddy's give the try. It's 3 back-to-back tries. It's a similar story to when Whitehaven were back at Doncaster only a few weeks ago. They had the half-time advantage. They've come out and then been absolutely blown away in the second half by their opposition. It's the 55th minute here at Belle Vue. Half-time score was Haven 14, Halifax 6. With the conversion to come, it's Halifax 22, it's Whitehaven 14.
Again, off the back of a Whitehaven error, you know, he's clean spilled the ball with no pressure in whatsoever. They've grown in confidence, definitely, of Halifax, and you can see that the 3 pivots are really now clicking. You know, Jufre, Keys and Woodburn all out the back, just put a lovely ball out to the winger there. But those 3 are now starting to take control of the game, and it's the pivots and the pivotal players of Halifax who are taking control. Whereas the first 25 minutes of the game, it was the other way around. It was Carter and it was Hannigan who were totally in control of the game, and how the tide have changed, and it's all down to errors and penalties that are absolutely killing Whitehaven at the minute.
The tables have turned here at Belle Vue. I've got the BBC Sport app next to me as well. It can't even keep up. It still says Whitehaven's winning 14-12. Just shows you how quick these tries have been here at Belle Vue. Louis Jufre now's lining up the conversion on this left hand side. Just a metre in from the touchline. He's going to come at it right footed, is the Frenchman, and that is going to be his first miss of the afternoon. Well, Whitehaven had an 8-point advantage at the half-time break. 15 minutes later, Halifax have an 8-point advantage. It's a 16-point swing.
Yeah, they have. They should not been in the ball. They've had no field position, no field territory whatsoever. It's been Halifax all the way. You know, we've not been looking to our right very often, have we, to see Whitehaven attacking the Halifax line. It's been the other way around. Yeah, the momentum swing's been massive, and that's what this game's about. It is about momentum swings, and it's been in Halifax's favour this second half. They look clinical, they're running harder, they're finding the fronts, they're playing much quicker. To be honest, they're playing like Whitehaven started the game that first 25 minutes. Halifax are playing that way now.
Halifax now fetching this ball forward. As play the ball, and O'Brien goes round 2 and gets the offload into the Gareth Widdop. It's going to be knocked on by Widdop. We're going to come back initially for the first knock on because Whitehaven couldn't collect either. And if Halifax could collect it, it might potentially not have been a knock on. They might have been able to go with it because it come off the boot of Gareth Widdop at the second attempt. but it's maybe what Whitehaven need to get back into this game. Scrum down, head and feed. Well, Halifax are totally full of confidence, and Whitehaven seem devoid of confidence. Complete swing around from that opening 25 minutes here at Belle Vue.
And they need to get a grip of O'Brien at 9, because he's absolutely having a field day this second half. His runs out of dummy half have been superb, and it all comes from losing collisions. You know, they're not controlling the tackle, they're not dominating Halifax at all with the carries, and O'Brien's just being able to run and scoot out of dummy half when he wants, and he's getting Halifax on the front foot. Then the three pivots are taking over, and they're playing some good stuff.
Carter's played the ball, then found now Lucas Castle. Whitehaven are being pushed back here with Lucas Castle. Going to play this, 27 metres away from the Halifax line. Newton in there at dummy half to the right hand side of the post. In the middle now with Noah high and high. Can't keep hold of the ball. It's just error after error from Whitehaven at the moment. They just can't complete the set. And I don't want to say about how often have we seen this Whitehaven get a start and then they just aren't able to kick on. We've seen it at Widnes, we've seen it at Doncaster, we've seen it again here at Belle Vue this afternoon. Halifax lead 22-14.
Yeah, and you know that's a basic catch, isn't it? And it's a poor error from the young fella that's should have caught that ball, and it's taken the pressure off again. They're just not able to build any pressure on this Halifax line, you know, and Halifax aren't having to do too much to get away from it either, because the defensive efforts just dropped right off. It's been like a capitulation this second half from Whitehaven. Again, just sat waiting, no line speed, no pressure. Halifax are just carrying the ball out of their own exit area at will and making easy meters.
O'Brien's going to be in there at dummy half, then comes across then to Adam Tangata, who's just back onto the field as now Jacob Fairbank, who he got the ball away to. Trying to take Hannigan with him is Fairbank. Corkle and Ryan King were involved in the tackle. It's going to be Keys now, finds Jufrey out the back to Woodburn Hall. Woodburn Hall's going to be through on that right hand side, and he's going to be 1-on-1, make a 4-on-1, because then Halifax are going to be in. Total and utter capitulation here at Belle Vue. It's Halifax's fourth unanswered try of the second half. They've come in just 13 second half minutes. The first come in the 46th minute, 51st and 55th. That one comes in the 59th. It was 14-6 at half time to Haven. It's now Halifax 26, Whitehaven 14, and Louis Jufrey should have a kick to come, a very easy kick to come, to make it 28 points to 14.
Woodburn Hall's just absolutely tore them apart there, but again, where did it start? It came from an error from Whitehaven. You know, they're knocking on Halifax's line. Simple catch from a dummy half pass, and he drops the ball, and then the ascendancy turns completely in the opposite direction, and it's Halifax that are attacking Whitehaven's line. And as I said, Woodburn Hall, he's certainly stepped up in his game in the last 10 minutes of the first half, and then in the second half he's been electric, he's been outstanding, and Whitehaven have got no answer for him at the minute. But again, their own downfall, because it's come from a Whitehaven error again, and these tries that they've scored, these three tries that they've scored, have all come on the back of Whitehaven errors.
They certainly have, as Jufrey knocks over the extras. We're just about to tick over to an hour gone here at Belle Vue, and an awful third quarter it has been for John Sigoli's Whitehaven. They have conceded 22 unanswered points, 4 tries, 3 conversions, and they've had absolutely no answer for this Halifax Panthers side, who, remember, started this game in the bottom 2. It just shows you what the championship can be like. Yeah,
and the worry is that they're not done yet, are they? Because they're playing with an awful lot of confidence at the minute. They're moving the ball well, they're running hard, they're finding fronts, they're playing the basics really well, which is what Whitehaven did in the first opening 25 minutes of the game. And you do worry that, unless something changes for Whitehaven, this could be a big score.
It certainly could be. As Tangata now is the man to fetch it forward. 35 metres away from his own line, 15 short of halfway. Keys then in at dummy half, goes right and finds, is it G on that side? The latest try scorer it is. Comes across now, finds Connor Davies, then out the back to Jufrey. They're happily playing here. It's Kavanagh now. Kavanagh's taken down. Fast play the ball. O'Brien gets away from Will Evans and finds Jufrey, then finds Connor Davies. Davies comes back to where the ball had came from. High's in there, Castle's in there, Newton's in there. They're 30 metres out, it's a 5 and last. Surely they're going to put it high and test Mason. They're not going to test Mason, they're going to try and test Joey Romeo. And Romeo jumps high there to get it. He does very, very well. And Whitehaven now just need to try and get back in this contest.
The worry is, John.
Oh, Will Evans has to dive to collect that ball. Go on, Gary.
No, sorry, the worry is that's a 100-metre set from a kick-off, isn't it? Look where they are now, and they weren't doing that first half. Whitehaven's defence was really good. The transitions were very good. They were kicking, clearing their own lines, and then really working hard to keep Halifax away from their own try line. It's quite the opposite this time. Second half, they've just come up and getting out of their own half of the field far too easily and putting Whitehaven under a lot of pressure.
Tia nearly broke through there. Fast play the ball. Mason's in there at dummy half. It is the 5 and last, and they're going to be 8 short of halfway. Comes across then to Jake Carter. Carter's going to put the kick deep. Woodburn Hall isn't back, so Graham has to come back and get it. Corkill's trying to put the pressure on. It's a fantastic kick from Carter, but can they try and pin Halifax down here? Graham, they're nearly through. He is through actually. She's on the 20. He's on the Halifax 30. He's going to then be taken down by Rio Corkill, but yet again, 5 starting the set now, 5 metres short of halfway. Whitehaven just aren't able to cope. We talked about the transition in the first half that Whitehaven showed. Halifax's has been immense in the second half and second tackle, and already back in the Whitehaven half, Gary.
Yeah, again, a poor end of set, but yet again, I'll go back to where he kicks the ball from. He kicks the ball from inside his own 40, and it makes it a difficult kick because you're not putting your opposition under any pressure unless you put a real good kick chase in. Halifax have got out far too easily. Charlie Graham made it look easy, and again,
Keys with the dummy, throws the offload into the hands of Louis Jufrey. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's their fifth unanswered try of the second half here at Belle Vue. And the game is gone. That should be all she wrote here, because Whitehaven aren't coming back into this. They are shot. They are gone. It is 30 points to 14 here at Belle Vue. Halifax look to be taking the 2 points.
Yeah, there's no answer to it, is there? Again, half-back combination, wasn't it? Keys, Jeffrey, they're exploiting every gap that's in Whitehaven's line now, and I tell you, there's plenty of them, because the cohesion's gone, the attitude's gone, the effort's gone. They just look so. There's no line speed, there's no control of collision. O'Brien's getting out of dummy half and just causing havoc there, and then Jufrey, Woodburn Hall and Keys on the back of that are just creating anything and going through gaps left, right and centre. But I don't think there's any way back now for Whitehaven, because they just look a spent force, and very disappointing compared to how they started the game. And I know they were hanging on just before half time, that 10 minutes, and the hooter came just at the right time for them, because they were totally shot to pieces in that last 5-10 minutes of the first half. But they've not improved as they've come out in the second half at all. It's just that same type of effort has continued, and that's why there's, as I said earlier, it's going to blow out, isn't it? It could be a big score this, unless they do something about it.
It seems to be the same old story for Whitehaven against Halifax. Was it a couple of seasons ago? Whitehaven went down to the share, named only 16 players on that afternoon. Jufrey adds the conversion. It is now Halifax 34, Whitehaven 14, although the scoreboard's got a little bit of a herd of itself and says 38-14. But how often do we see this, especially down at Halifax? Whitehaven stayed good in the first half. They went down to Halifax with 16 players only a couple of seasons ago. They were level or just ahead at the half-time break, and then once again capitulated in the second half. Seeing it here once again at Belle Vue, they've attempted to go short as Guy Graham's going to try and knock it backwards. It's going to be a knock-on. Graham says he knocks it backwards, but referee Kevin Moore says yeah, but the momentum was with you and it's gone forward, so it's going to be a scrum down, head and feet to Halifax, and they're going to have the scrum down here 30 metres out. And you maybe want to try that a try or two ago, but you're already 20 points down. You think get it deep and force the error, or try to force the error.
Yeah, they've got to try something a little bit different. And you talk about this capitulation. Is it the bench? Have they not offered us the impact that they should have done? Certainly, Ryan King's a very crucial player for Whitehaven. When he's not on the field, there is a dip in form and a dip in how they play. So I don't know if the bench should have made a little bit more impact than they did, but it's damage limitation now, I'm afraid, from now on to the rest of the game.
Tangata's the man that's taken down. Guy Graham with a help there to James Newton. O'Brien then finds Keys, who then finds Matty G. G's the man taken down, 3 metres short of halfway. Going to go down the short side. Keys then finds Barber, looks to step inside, but it's going to be wrapped up there. He's Ed Barber. They're into the Whitehaven half now. Halifax, they're 8 metres over the halfway line as McComb dives in at dummy half and makes 12 metres. They're 30 out. It is the 5 and last. How often have I said that in the second half, as Keys is going to look to put a crossfield kick in. It's high. Romeo's going to dive up for it. It's just bounced backwards. It's going to go dead for a 7 tackle set and a top 20. And that is probably the first error, and I say error in quotation marks, we've seen from in the second half, Gary, from this Halifax side.
It has, yeah. They've been squeaky clean. They've been high on the completion rates. They've been tidy in defence and not giving penalties away. And that's an absolute contrast to what Whitehaven have been doing. And that's why the scoreline says what it does.
Ainley now is the man to fetch it forward. I think it's telling that Whitehaven even haven't had an opportunity to give any six against or penalties away in the second half, apart from them back-to-back penalties that allowed the first try. It's going to be actually a penalty here for Whitehaven.
Yeah, that's the first.
It's the first one Whitehaven have had in the second half.
It is. And they need to try and spend some time down here now and put some pressure on Halifax's line and not cough up the ball cheaply or give a penalty away. They need to try and make the most of this field position. I'll tell you what, if they get a score now, it's still not too far away from them. They can still do something in this game, but they really do need to score some points pretty quickly.
Tia takes the tap 38 away. He's going to make it to 25 metres out here, so good work from the centre. But it's a slow flare, the ball. Dominant tackle, so Newton in there at dummy half comes across right into the hands of Guy Graham. He's 18 metres out, just in line with the left hand side post. Newton in there at dummy half, comes right into the hands of King. King takes it to the line, then finds Hannigan. Hannigan then finds Rio Corkill. Corkill's going to be 5 metres out here as he's wrapped up, right hand side of the posts. Going to go into the middle with King. King then finds Carter. Carter then finds Mason. Mason's going to put a little kick forward. Should be. Is it going to be a fresh set of six played out, or is it just going to be play on? Just going to be played on. Ruled not played at from that kick from Jake Mason. So Carter collected the ball, then now plays it, then finds James Newton from Newton, dummy half. It's the 5 and last. Newton in there. Comes King. King then shapes the dummy, trying to power himself over, get the offload away into the hands then of trying to get the ball free. Ruled to have been knocked on. Turnover ball as he only did dive over, but play was already well stopped.
Yeah, at least they've finished the set at the end, where they want to be on Halifax's try line, but there wasn't much invention about that attacking play. It was very lateral. There was no real nobody changing lines of run or anything like that. It was pretty easy to defend from an Halifax point of view. So a bit disappointing, they need to throw a little bit more at the Halifax line if they want to cross it, but Halifax just soaked it up and like I said, very lateral, no change of direction, no deception plays at all, and easy to defend.
Lannon, I think he's now the man to fetch it forward. Off Fairbank, 20 metres away from his own line. Lannon now, fresh back onto the field there to replace Adam O'Brien, who's had a fantastic impact in that last 10 minutes of the first half and this second half. Jufrey's jumped into dummy half and into the hands now of Connor Davies, then comes out to Kavanagh. Kavanagh then finds Widdup. Widdup steps inside, gets away from Rio Corkill. Didn't see that Lachlan Hannigan was coming back and is being whacked there by Hannigan and a combination of Will Evans. To the shorter halfway on the 5 and last here. Graham's in at dummy half. Going to come across to Jufrey. Jufrey puts the kick in. Spiral, and it's just going to bounce and bounces behind Jake Mason, and he eventually collects it on his own try line, then gets the pass to Buafo. Buafo then looks to fetch it forward. He's wrapped up 12 metres away from his own line. Is the loanee from the London Broncos. Mason's in at dummy half, then finds now Johnny Romeo, and it's telling here how long it's taken the Whitehaven line to get back.
Yeah, and his outside backs to carry here because the Whitehaven forwards look spent, don't they? They're certainly taking a long time to get back on side, and they're going to be tackling again soon because they're going to have to put a kick chase in. So Will Evans is going to play this ball 25 out from his own line. Mason in at dummy half now, finds Ross Ainley, puts his head down and runs there. Does Ross Ainley, made 10 metres in pretty much centre field now. Newton in at dummy half, then finds Mason. Mason trying to get away from Tangata and does so. Steps up and runs into Jufrey and Fairbank. It's going to be the 5 and last, shorter halfway here. Whitehaven's going to come back into Lachlan Hannigan, and Hannigan can't keep hold. Just takes his eyes off the ball there, does Lachlan Hannigan, and just completely sums up the second half for John Sigoli's side, does it? We've seen 3 knock-ons, major knock-ons, that one there on the final set, them 2 from Jake Mason, which eventually led to back-to-back tries. And what a difference. That's the tale of two halves. Gary Thornton. Yes, it is, definitely is, and they've just fueled Halifax, haven't they, with basic errors. Again, that's set for a kick and dummy half pass, he's just clean dropped it, and disappointing from a Whitehaven point of view, because they started to find a little bit of a way back into the game, didn't they? They had some back-to-back sets. They put a bit of pressure on the Halifax line, and they defended pretty well. And then a basic error, and he doesn't look good either. Looks like he's taken a knock. But the coach killers them. John will be fuming at the basic errors that have cost his side dearly this second half. And Halifax are too good a team not to take advantage of that.
Certainly are. We have got a stoppage in play while Lachlan Hannigan just take some treatment from the Whitehaven physio, see if he's going to be okay to continue. Well, to be honest, they've got no one really to come on the bench, off the bench to replace him. No. We know Jamie Dorden played what he did, that limited amount he could do with on one leg after going down in the warm-up. But it is going to be Halifax to get this game back underway. They're going to start in Whitehaven's half, and we've seen how dangerous they have been when that's been the case. As Tangata's now on the ball, man to fetch it forward, and they just can't hold him. Corkill and Newton in at marker. Goes right into the hands of Keys. Keys just opposite then to Ryan Lannon.
Whitehaven line's backing off. He was going forward in the first half, it's going backwards now.
Goes right from Davies, finds Keys. Back inside, is it to a wicked offload, not needed, and it's going to be collected by Ryan King. And Whitehaven have the ball back 10 metres away from their own line.
Yeah, they're lucky there, because Matty G just threw a speculative pass out the back door with nobody there. But the contrast in Whitehaven's defence in that first 25 minutes, where they were going forward, dominating collisions and getting really into Halifax's face. Now Halifax are playing quick, the Rooks are too quick, and Whitehaven's line, they're not even going forward, they're defending going backwards most of the time, and that's why they find themselves in the position that they're in, and that's either down to fatigue or something, I don't know, but there's been a massive contrast in the way that Whitehaven have defended in the second half.
Jay Carter looking for a little chick over the top. I was going to say he was taken out, and he wasn't. As he hit the floor, did Jay Carter, and kudos to Whitehaven for trying something different, but Ryan Lannon then essentially back to where they started the previous set, within 40 metres.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to try something, because they're just not breaking down this Halifax defensive line at all. They're not putting plays on, they're not running hard, and Carter's tried to find something a little bit different there, and nearly got away with it, but tried to milk the penalty and didn't get what he was expecting. So
Halifax back within 20 metres now. Matty G is going to look at playing this ball. Connor Davis in there at dummy half. Comes left into the hands of Keys. Then comes to Clement Boyer, who's just come back onto the field to replace Jacob Fairbank. He's going to play this ball. 12 out. Going to go right. It's going to be rolled a knock on from Clement Boyer, so it's yet again something that Whitehaven needed. But it's a long way back into this game with just under 7 minutes gone. They're 20 points behind. It'd be late, it'd be great. And I think, Gary, mission impossible.
Yeah, I think they need a miracle, to be honest. Yeah, it's a long way. But if you thought that they were creating something and looked like they might get themselves back into the game with another try, and it's 34-20, but they're too far away from Halifax's line. They're not causing Halifax any problems whatsoever. They just look totally in control of this game. And we're talking about line speed. Look at that from Halifax. They've played the ball on the 20, and they've met the guy carrying the ball on the 20. So they made about 2-3 metres impact there. So there is a massive contrast in what both teams are doing, and it's definitely been that game of 2 hours that you mentioned earlier.
So King now with ball in hand. Whitehaven have made it to their own 40. Finds Ainley, gets the offload away to King. King's then going to try and find a gap here. It's going to be pulled down on halfway. So a couple of tackles left here. Newton, dummies left, goes right, finds Hannigan, then finds Corkill down this right hand edge. It's going to be the 5 and last, the 27-28 metres out. Evans then finds Hannigan now, who's going to put the kick in, and that's going to be, I think, too deep. No, Woodburn Hall, it just died at sort of the last minute. Woodburn Hall collected, but then look at the space that he had in front of him. Woodburn Hall, he had about 15 metres worth of space in front of him.
No kick chase, no kick chase. All the things, the good little things that they were doing in the first half, all those good effort areas, they're just not there anymore. Whitehaven
are going to be still searching for their win here at Halifax. This will be their 11th consecutive defeat in the league, at least, to Halifax. Last away victory against Halifax's Keys is going to break down that right hand side, and he's going to put the kick through. I think Hannigan is going to have enough to get back. It's Clement Boyer on the chase, and he's just going to kick it dead there. Is Lachlan Hannigan. and that is something different we've seen. We mentioned in the first half how little control the half-backs had, the Halifax half-backs had, and it was Whitehaven's half-backs were on top since. It seems to be strange. It seems to be the Simbin and a Ben Kavanagh just fired this Halifax side up, Gary, with it putting someone in front of him. That little bit of
there's more desire, isn't there? There's more desire in everything that they're doing. They're running harder. They're finding the front, and that's allowing Keys and Giuffre just to control the game. But it's that's exactly what it is. They've just totally lost control of Whitehaven, and Halifax are just running so much harder and breaking through at will.
Jay Carter attempts to go short with the kick-off, trying to find touch. Ben Kavanagh was alive to it, so Halifax are within 20 metres on the first tackle. Lannon now with ball in hand in centre field, just in line with the left-hand side post. Connor Davies in there at dummy half. 4 minutes to go to full-time as we make it here at Belle Vue. Keys then comes across then to Tangata. Tangata's going to be pulled down 2 or 3 metres. Davies in there is going to go right and finds Giuffre, and then it's going to be in on that right hand side. He's Matty G, and that's going to be the icing on top of the cake here at Belle Vue. It's their 6th unanswered try of the second half, and it is now Halifax 38, Whitehaven 14.
And again, far too easy. That they're not having to do too much here. They're just going at the line with a little bit of threat and a little bit of enthusiasm, and once you get anywhere near that try line now with Whitehaven, they seem to just breach it at will. And nice little pop-up pass. Matty G on a decent line, but should have been defended. Could have been stopped. They're not working too hard for the tries now, and absolute total capitulation. So disappointing for Jonty, because for most of that first half they were very good in everything they did. This second half they just looked like a completely different team.
You didn't hear, I didn't quite catch a lot of what you said there, to go and cut my pen from down below us, but the end of it just seemed to be what we've said on previous tries. It'd been a complete and utter capitulation. Defence probably should have been slightly better. Where does that performance gone from the opening 25 minutes? Jonty Gawley must be ripping his hair out up there.
Yeah, and that's what I said. He must be very, very disappointed, because the first half they were by far the better team, and Halifax didn't look like they were going to get themselves into the game, and it's turned its head. And we talk about it often. You're three scores up, and then what a difference a try makes. And that Joe Keys try 10 minutes before half time has made a huge difference to this game, because Whitehaven haven't scored since, and Halifax have been unstoppable, and it all come back from you could see a marked difference in Halifax once they got that try. The confidence level seemed to grow. It had the adverse effects on Whitehaven. It seemed to drain them of any energy, and they were lucky. They were hanging on in the first 10, the last 10 minutes of that second half. They were hanging on, and thankfully they kept them out. But this second half, it's just been one-way traffic. It's just been absolutely Halifax all over, and Whitehaven have shot themselves in the foot. Back-to-back penalties, drop balls when they shouldn't be dropping balls, and it's just fed Halifax's enthusiasm. I'm
going to have a crick in my neck with just looking left in this second half, but Whitehaven have been able to recover the ball from the kick-off. It was a bit of a messy one. King then played the ball. Guy Graham playing it now with second tackle. Newton in there at dummy half, then now finds King, finds Carter. Carter's going to put the little kick forward, but Waffle's going to try and get there, and
they've tried that 3 or 4 times now.
And it hasn't come off once.
It hasn't, John. And the reason they're having to try that is because they've got no shape, no execution. Everybody's running a lateral line instead of somebody punching a hole either short into the Halifax defence or out the back. There is no options for the halfbacks. So on tackle 3 or 4, they're having to kick in behind the Halifax line because the Halifax line's so aggressive.
Whitehaven have got ball here. I've been too busy what's going on this in the middle. Rio Corkill's going to put the ball down. Couldn't tell you how it does it. It doesn't really matter how it does it. I was looking, there was about 5 or 6 players in the middle of the field, all sort of having a get together. But Whitehaven have scored their first try of the second half. Halifax aren't going to have a point in the second half. Did you see a little bit more than I did?
Yeah,
Gary?
I did. Yeah, Charlie Graham just dropped the ball. Cole coming out of backfield. I think it was Romeo put a big hit on him just as he was carrying the ball, and he just clean dropped it. And then there were a couple of Whitehaven players. I think was it Corkill, or Evans, and they look the same, don't they, those two? I don't know which one it was, but he clean dropped the ball. They were in the right area of the field, picked it up and scored the most simplest of tries, because they won't get an easier one than that. But yeah, came from an Halifax error, clean drop of the ball.
Like you say, I was looking at sort of the meeting of the minds in the middle. Ryan King was in there, Guy Graham was in there. There was a few other Halifax players in there.
There were, yeah. They did a bit of a set too. I think Ryan King's had his shirt ripped. I'm not sure what happened there. There were a bit of afters, I think. But during that time, and the referee didn't say anything that he thought he wanted to penalise, so he'd let play on. Carter's missed the kick. So he's let play on, and it's been fortunate that he's given Whitehaven the last score of the game.
Full time here at Belle Vue, and from what was a fantastic start where Whitehaven found themselves 14-0 up in just 22 minutes, my God, how they capitulated. 38 tries on the Bell 10 they conceded, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,